Hi, I'm Russell D. Jones with D6 Mafia here on the floor of Gen Con. Now, I'm talking with Bruce. He is the designer and creator of Hirst Arts and their product Castle Molds, which we are really excited about. How you doing today, Bruce?
Oh, pretty good, pretty good.
Great. Well, tell us a little bit about what you do here.
Well, what we do is sell silicone rubber molds. Think of this as a huge craft project. Okay, because it does take time, it's messy, but for those who like to build and like to create, it works out really well. We take a silicone rubber mold. I don't know if you can zoom in on it.
Oh, yeah.
You mix up plaster of Paris.
Okay.
Actually, I like to use dental stone, which is almost exactly like plaster of Paris, only it's 4 times as strong. You get it from a dental supply place. It's what they make your dentures out of and work the crowns on and make sure it fits. You know, I don't know if you ever had a mold in your mouth made, but that's the stuff that they use. I use it in here because it holds up really well.
Oh, I'd hope so.
25 minutes to pop it out, and then you build with them. You have to cast a mold again and again to accumulate enough blocks.
Sure.
In order to, you know, have enough to build something
this amazing.
Yeah. But anyway, that's the basic process.
Oh,
you glue
really
it together.
Simple.
Yeah, you glue it together with Elmer's wood glue or this, and you paint it with house paint.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a lot cheaper than miniatures paint. It holds up better, and I've got the recipes on the website that you can mix the exact colors we got here.
Really?
They'll mix it at Walmart, and you can paint it on.
Wow, that's so nice. So it's sort of you just sell them, you know, the basic. Do it yourself, and then they can just go to town and just keep building and building and building?
Yeah, and all the instructions are on the website to build everything block by block that you see here. So, you know, it's like the instruction booklet you got for Legos to build. It's pretty much the same thing.
So you take some of the guesswork if somebody just wants, hey, I want exactly what you guys have, I loved it. They can go in there and they figure out how to build this exact thing or this tower.
Yeah, usually I put small projects on the website, like a small tower, and because they don't know what to do. So once you build it, then your mind, oh, okay, I see how this works. And you just start building whatever you want.
So what kind of people, what kind of gamers usually look at these kind of products?
Well, usually the Warhammer 40K, those folks, the Dungeons and Dragons folks. There are several molds that I've made for games that we really like personally, like Wiz Wars from Fantasy Flight Games. They redid that one, you know, and so I made a board that would work for that because we play it all the time. Space Hulk from Warhammer, love that game. So we've made some squares that actually fit with it and designed. We've even got a set for the Robot Factory, kind of like Robo Rally. Which, I wouldn't want to say Robo, but you know. But yeah, it's that's where a lot of the ideas come from games that we want to do.
Oh, that's perfect. So let's, if it's all right with you, let's kind of go around and kind of tell us a little bit about each set.
Well, the first one, this is one of the original sets that we came up with. Honestly, Dwarven Forge came out first, but you know, looking at the pieces, we wanted something that we could actually build from scratch. Something with just a few materials. The first ones that I had come up with were painting Warhammer miniatures, and I wanted to put it on my shelf, and I wanted a way to display it.
Well, sure.
But I couldn't find any way to do it, so that's what I originally created the molds for. This particular dungeon layout was sort of modeled a little bit more after the Dwarven Forge after they came out with theirs. We thought, wow, that's a good idea. I wonder if I could do that. So for that one. But anyway, that's the basics on this one. On around here, I don't know if you can fight through the crowd.
Yeah, we'll swing on over.
This is more of a cavern setup. This is probably 5 years old, and we did several accessories for the inside.
Yeah, the accessories are really great. I love the water. You got little creatures inside there. You got some tentacles coming out. The flavor is just beautiful.
Most of them that I try to do something new on a project, like for the water, I'll include instructions online of how to do the water. Because like before I did the water, I didn't know how to do it. So after experimenting and finding out, then you can put that on and people have something creative they can do and they can use the molds too. So you have to sort of give some sort of instruction that's a little beyond, so they've got something fun to add with it, you know.
Right, yeah, and then the creative types, I'm sure, will just go crazy.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
This one's the Gothic Dungeon. It's probably about 6 or 7 years old. It's a little more difficult to do because A lot of smaller detailed pieces are harder to know how to
We've got decorative floor tiles, looks here, like it's just like an old cathedral.
Yeah, and I actually, I built a chess set, which is large. It's on the website, using all of these molds. I didn't have room to bring it. I had to cut down.
Understandable.
Because, but anyway, that's just different molds will do different things. What I usually tell people is to start basic. In other words, you need floors and you need walls.
Right.
So you can build something basic like this with just walls and floors. Then choose an additional mold, see if you like it. You know, I try to get people to just buy one, see if they like the whole casting and building process. Because it's a craft hobby you have to like. And once you do, then you can justify putting more money into it. But don't blow a lot of money on something you're never going to use, you know. So I try to steer them towards just one or two to get started before they,
well, that's
and to
perfect.
see if they really like
and you can do a lot with just one mold, it seems like.
You can do quite a bit. It sort of depends on the mold, but yeah, most of them are start with something basic and move on. The end that we have here, this is recent. This is probably about a year old.
This might be my favorite piece. I really love this end.
Yeah, this is one of those that people had been sort of hounding me to do barrels and crates and books and bottles and you know that sort of thing. It's like, I don't really want to do that, but finally did it because I knew I'd have to paint all of the little bottles and you know, and it's just like, you know, painting all this stuff. It's just like painting miniatures. Try to paint an army.
Oh
it's
God!
Like, oh my God! You know, painting a castle. I'd rather paint something this big because I can do it in a day or two. It's not you know, just one color. But doing bottles
to do a whole room is just
it
weeks.
takes time. It takes time. But yeah, this group of molds right here will build everything. You know, except for these guys. You supply your own miniatures.
Oh, of course. Oh, but I mean, the attention to detail and how it turned out with the paint and just all the little pieces. I mean, it makes this inn come alive. Yeah, and I think that's what really draws me in personally.
The difficult part is trying to plan pieces that you can use a number of ways and are easy to see how to build with. Mm-hmm. You know, because if you make them too complex, people will go, I don't know what this piece is for, you know. So it's sort of a balance. The more intricate you make the piece, the cooler it looks, but the less you know how to use it. So you sort of have to, I don't want to say dumb it down a bit, but you got to make it where it's easy to see what to do with it. Mm-hmm. And it makes it easier to build with. These are mostly single projects. In other words, one mold will make the tomb, and you have one mold that will make a tower, and one mold that will make, you know. These are easy projects for above ground. Mm-hmm. We have several people that, you know, do model railroads, or they do dollhouses, or they do, you know, other things like that. That they garden railroad actually is a perfect scale for a lot of these. Anyway, these are mostly one mold per project. This is one of the newer ones that we had. This is steel bridge mold.
Oh yeah.
It actually, I tried for years to try to figure out how to do girders, but you know, you don't want them too thin or they'll break. And then how do you glue them together so that's not fragile? These are just building blocks. I finally found a way to put girders into straight, square building blocks that are really solid, and it worked out well.
Oh, it looks awesome.
It worked out well.
What a perfect piece of terrain.
It's really happy with how that came out. This one over here is the robot factory.
Yeah, very different.
And it's all these pieces are individual, so you can rearrange them however you want. I'm sure all the Robo Rally fans are going, yeah, that's Robo Rally. Yeah, there's one right there. Yeah. But we play Robo Rally. We love the game. Avalon Hill still makes it. Buy it. It's a wonderful game. If you've never played it, play it. But this is for my personal set is about 3 times this size.
Wow.
And we play it to death. You know, and it's fun to rearrange the tiles and make your own. People have been doing that on the computer. They print it out on paper and rearrange the tiles and play on the board they printed. We wanted more of a 3D version.
Yeah. Oh, this is absolutely next level. It's perfect.
And that's pretty much coming to the end of what we've got on the tables anyway.
Well, let's check out the last two. So this is a great sci-fi, Star Wars-y.
Yeah. This one we've had probably about 6 or 7 years, I think.
Okay, a little while.
So it's been around a little while. But basically the painting scheme on it, which was just sort of a tested attempt, it's spray painted white, and we use Kiwi liquid shoe polish and wipe it on and wipe it off.
Oh, interesting.
So that it's just a really, really simple, quick paint job. So you don't have to fiddle with details. You know, you just spray paint it. And that's the same thing with the Roborally. The Roborally one, if you pan back on it, the new thing that I did on this set is that the arrows are separate from the conveyor belt, and the rollers are separate. They're all separate bits. So what I did is I had, like 500 arrows. You just spray paint them all blue. You got the conveyors, you spray paint them all black and dry brush them gray. The rollers, you spray paint them silver. And then when you glue them together, it's a perfect clean paint job.
Oh, it makes it
you
so
just
easy.
Glue them together. It's like really easy. Because, you know,
it would take so much more time to individually paint all with a little brush.
But with
no way.
With the spray painting and gluing it together, that was the fastest paint job I've ever done. It still looks
great.
Still looks good.
All right, and we got one last set here, which I also really like. An Egyptian themed.
Yeah, this one's probably 4 years old, but it's an Egyptian theme, and there's probably about 7 or so molds. This one was this one probably took me about a year to make.
Oh wow!
I had spent about 6 months on the pieces and made them all, and they were horrible. They wouldn't go together. I couldn't make one. You know, it was really depressing. But at least, and when I got done with it, I go, now I understand what I originally wanted, and then I was able to make it. Because until you get that clear picture in your head, you know, it just doesn't come to you. So you have to make something, and at least, you know, that's sort of the journey of
you got to trial and error. Yeah,
figuring it out. You know, it's like, okay, that's why it didn't work. I didn't have any statues. This design didn't work. You know, and that's just sort of the process. But it finally came out.
Well, it really did.
I was happy with it.
You had the statues and the little fountains. You even got the water, you know, pouring out of the fountains, the broken open sarcophagi. Yeah. You know,
it's funny. The original idea, I think, came from the Mario game, or Mario World, or something like that. From the Super Nintendo. But yeah, that's sort of where the original idea came from on that.
That's really great.
Anyway, that's pretty much the Egyptian one.
As far as cost of buying a mold, are they all about the same? Do they vary between different
They're
different
pretty
styles?
close to the same. The thicker ones are $34, the thinner ones are $29.
Okay.
And it depends on how much rubber is used. It's the silicone rubber that's expensive.
That's the cost, yeah.
So the thickness of the mold determines the price of the mold.
But very close. And if somebody wanted to get into this, that's such a cheap option because they can just really go, right?
Yeah, keep in mind it costs you in time.
Sure.
So you know you can build a huge dungeon and save a lot of money, but it does cost you in time. You have to be a person who enjoys craft projects. But some people find it sort of soothing to do, you know, just basically the repetitive work. I can just sit down for a day and then cast, and I got this huge tub of blocks at the end of the day, and then you can just, you know, start building whatever you want.
Paint, yeah. That's great. So. These can be bought on your website? Is that
on the website? Yeah, and we still have the same discounts on the website as we do here.
Really? That's great.
We ship them out next day. We actually run this from our house.
Which is amazing.
The whole business is me and my wife in our house, and we've got one room devoted to mold making, and I've got one room that's got all my tools for the sculpting.
Oh man! So how do I get an invitation to check?
Yeah,
just kidding. So the website. What is the URL?
The URL?
Yeah.
It's there's two ways. The easiest one to remember is castlemolds.com.
Castlemolds.com.
Or the other one is Hirst Arts. Hirst, H-I-R-S-T, which is my last name, and Arts. It's actually one of my high school students came up with the name like 15 years ago. But
that it works.
Yeah, it's
right. That's really great. So castlemolds.com or hirstarts.com. You can check out all these molds online. They have the same discounts as they do here at the convention. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us today.
Yeah.
Great. I'm Russ with D6 Mafia from the floor of Gen Con.